Hello, everybody. I pray that you had a wonderful celebration of Christmas, or if you just had a great day with family and friends, that's okay too. We're moving forward with our bridal gown. My lace and fabric finally came in, so I've got my lining here. I'm having to, I've got some muslin, got a whole bunch of lining here. But I've got some muslin laying with the lining here because I'm going to be cutting out the pattern pieces for the interlining on the skirt and on the bodice. So I've got my lining and my interlining laying out together, and I've just made a clean cut here at the bottom so that I know exactly how much of the muslin that I have laying out on top under this lining, so I can see exactly really what I'm working with as far as laying these pattern pieces out. So this is where I'm at. I'm laying them out. I've got the lining and the muslin pinned together. So let me just attach this back here. I just needed to know where my cutoff line is, so had to make a square, a clean line here on the lining itself. Okay, so I feel like I lose my words when I do this, but anyway, here we go. Let me be bold and be strong, for the Lord my God is with me. All right, so I'm laying out my skirt. It's the middle skirt. It's not the circular skirt that we're working with now. It is the middle skirt. Let's see if I can give you some more viewing room. All right, so it's the middle skirt. I need this is what I needed to know how much room I have here. This is the back. Center front is laid out on the fold. The back is laid here. Let's see how much space I actually have here. I need my bodice front. Yeah, this is what I was working with. How much room I actually have. It looks like I'm going to have to cut out one of these pieces on another piece of muslin, which is fine. That's fine. We'll just work with it. I just need to make sure I have enough room. So this is a good layout for what we can do right here. And then my bodice front will have to be cut out on another piece of muslin and lining, which is absolutely fine. It's not a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and get these pinned down, get them cut out the bodice front and lining. Is this the front and the lining? Cut out the bodice front and the lining. She dropped on the floor somewhere. And then we'll be picking it up from there. Let me show you this while I'm getting ready to cut these out. I've got my grain lines on all of my pattern pieces, and so I need to make sure that my grain lines are going to be even with the grain of the lining and the muslin. So what I'm going to do, I'll just show you on this one right here. I'm going to pin this at the top of my grain line right here. Actually, go about right here. At my grain line right here, and I'm going to measure it out to my selvage here to see how many inches it is. And I am going with 6 3/8. 6 3/8. Hope you can see that. Okay, so then I'm going to take another pin, and I'm going to pin it here in the bottom of my grain line, and I'm going to measure out that same length 6 3/8. Let me double check it. 6 3/8. 6 1/4. So the bottom needs to move over this way 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to move that over 1/4 of an inch until I get to 6 3/8. Okay, so I went over just a bit too much. You just have to play with it till you get your grain line straight. That is very important, to make sure your grain line is straight. So we're at 6 3/8. Okay, so now I can go ahead and pin this down. And I'm going to do that same practice on all the rest of the pattern pieces. Make sure that now on center front you don't necessarily have to do that because the fold line will let you know. So I'm going to go ahead and pin my center front skirt down, my front skirt pattern front skirt pattern down. We're going to go ahead and pin that down because that's on the fold. So the fold tells me that it's lined up evenly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will take that same practice to the other 3 pattern pieces and pin them down and get them cut out. All right, so still pinning these grain lines on here. So how was your holiday season? Was it everything you needed? Was it everything you wanted? Did you eat a lot? Oh, I know I did. My eating plan, my diet had to be put on hold for sure. All right, I'm still measuring out my grain lines to make sure that they are even. And I'm having to use the edge of my cork board as a guide because it's stable. It's not like my fabric. My fabric has jagged edges, which makes it a little difficult to make sure that I'm measuring where I need to. So I decided to use my cork board instead, and that has given me great success. Okay. One thing about this board though, it definitely needs to be up on a higher, ooh, my back. It definitely needs to be raised up higher, about right to my high waist level. That takes a lot of pressure off of your back. So if you have a sewing table that's really low, I think you know what I'm talking about. And you can get these, let me see if I haven't put these under my table yet because I'm still trying to decide how I want to use a different sewing table and just use this as my cutting table all the way around, put a topper on it all the way around, and then raise it up so I can use it as a cutting table instead of a cutting and a sewing table, which is what I'm using it for at this point. But boy, when it comes to cutting stuff out, man, I need a higher table than this. But we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. Absolutely. We're going to make it work until something else comes along. That's 15.5. This is, dog, that's a whole 1/4 inch off. All right, turn that right there. Oh, need another 1/8 of an inch. Okay. 15.5. Okay, so we've got our pieces laid out, all except for the front bodice. Once I get, oh my gosh, we're going to have to raise this up a little bit. This way. Okay. All right. My front bodice pattern has to be cut out on a different piece of fabric. I don't have enough for all of the pieces on this particular lining and interlining. I call it interlining. It's actually just muslin, but I'm using it as an interlining for the dress so that it will hide the boning when I turn it inside out. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Make sure you pin around your corners and your curves to keep your fabric stable. That's very helpful. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to get this cut out, find my bodice top. Wherever she went, she just disappeared on me. And get her cut out and ready to go. And we will be back in business. All right, so let me show you a little something here. My scissors, I've got several pair, especially this pair right here, this pair right here, and this is a larger pair which I should be using for cutting my fabric. And this pair and another pair that I'll show you were dull. This pair right here. I love polka dots, so when I saw these, I had to get them. But they're dull, and I found this Fiskars has a scissor sharpener. And so what you do, it's got little inserts right here with a blade. So what you do is you just stick your scissors. What's the best way to show you this? How about if I do it like this? Stick your scissors in those openings there, and you just squeeze them closed. So you put them in open, like this, and you squeeze them closed, and it sharpens your scissors. So sometimes you don't need a new pair of scissors. Sometimes you just need a good sharpener. Like any chef, you know, chefs have a certain knife that they love, but they don't go buy another knife. They sharpen it because they know that's all they need to do. So that's what I've done, and now my scissors are ready to go. Oh yes, you need a good pair of scissors when you are cutting out your patterns, your fabric, because it gives you a smoother edge. And when you have a smooth edge, it makes your seams more even. So make sure you get a scissor sharpener for your scissors. That's a good way to keep your tools ready for you. Okay, so now you want to act crazy. Remember, I'm cutting out 4 layers of fabric. Oh yeah, this is good. Very good. And I said I was going to stop putting my arms in the camera. So let me show you. I'm going to finish cutting this out, and I'm going to show you the edge that these scissors are giving me on my pattern. This is where I'm going to be sewing these together, so it's really important that I get a good line. All right, so let me show you what we've got. See how clean that edge is? It's really helpful to make sure you've got a great pair of scissors. Look at that edge. It really helps with your cutting. Your cutting will help with your sewing, and your sewing will help you have the garment that you are wanting at the end. All right. I'm going to start from this end. Okay. Now, the only thing about my scissor sharpener is it's not going to sharpen the edge of my rotary cutter. Typically, you have to just get a new blade for your rotary cutter, which can be a hassle sometimes. But it will give you that edge that you need on your cutting out as well. So all of these tips, all of these things that seem to be so tedious and so mundane, and oh my gosh, do I have to do that? All of the things that you do at these stages are what help you get to a garment that either you would love to wear or somebody else would love to wear. So yes, it's important. Yes, it's important. And yes, it's tedious. And yes, it can get on your nerves and all of those things. All the things. But in the end, you'll be glad you did. Okay, so make sure also that you keep your blade on the table. Your bottom blade. Keep it on the table. Okay. All of this to get a smooth edge. Okay. I'm going to turn this way so I can actually cut this out here. So, how many of you are thankful that you went Christmas shopping, or how many of you are thankful that you didn't go Christmas shopping? We actually didn't do Christmas shopping for ourselves in our house. We did Christmas shopping for a gift giveaway at church and a Secret Santa, but otherwise, as far as gift giving in our home, we didn't do that this year. Actually, I'm glad that we didn't because it helped us to focus more on the needs of others. And I know my grandchildren are probably going to be saying, well, what about us? So I'm sure I'll be getting them something along the new year, but for Christmas, no, we just focused on really giving to those who were less fortunate than us. So, and I'm glad we did that. It really did my heart good. I didn't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of Christmas shopping and making sure that, you know, you get the perfect thing for everybody. And it was just so much more peaceful this year. And I'm thankful for that. I am thankful for that. For my grandchildren, I've decided I'll just have to drop them something in the mail every once in a while during the year, and then that way we won't have to worry so much about Christmas. Christmas is not about us, it's about Christ. So that's my stand on that. Okay, so we've got 3. Oh, okay, that's the skirt back. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Woo! Okay, so we're going to do that. So we've got these 3 pieces cut out. I'm going to move this over here so I can sit down because, as I said, this table is not elevated enough and it is slightly challenging. on my back. So I'm going to sit down and cut this out here. And again, this is on the fold. This right here is on the fold. My bodice front will be on the fold as well, but I'll cut that out with another piece of fabric. Only thing is okay. I might have to stand up anyway. I might have to stand up anyway, so I can get a bird's eye view of what I'm actually doing. Sometimes there's just no winning, you know? Sometimes there is just no winning. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to work. I'm going to stop talking and just work here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stand up because I don't like. I need a little bit more control over what's going on here. So I'm gonna have to stand up. Yeah, there we go. Giddy up, little pony. Giddy up. All righty. Okay. There's that. And then we've got this piece here. I think some of these scissors can pull to the left or to the right somehow. I don't know how that happens. I think it's how the blade is forged in the fire. It's interesting that I would even mention that because one of my, well, not one of them, but my focus for my personal growth this year, this 2024, is going to be focusing on temperance. And you know, when you temper something, like when you temper iron, do you watch that show Forged in the Fire, I think is what it's called? But when you temper it, it gives it the ability. Now I'm not a knife maker or anything like that, but from what I understand, when you temper the metal in the fire, it gives it the ability to withstand things that would bend it one way or the other. Like these are tempered. They're not going to bend. They're not bending anyway. Even if I press on them as hard as I can, they're not bending because they've been tempered. And so my goal for 2024 is to grow in the area of temperance so that I don't bend so easily in areas that are challenging for me. Okay, so really what I'm doing is just sitting here waiting for my bobbin to thread here. So when I was talking about temperance, I've got my pattern pieces all cut out right here, right? So I was talking about temperance, and I said, I don't know if I said it on camera or not. However, my bodice front pattern is missing. I mean, it just absolutely has vanished into thin air, and I'm not sure where or why. I have a pretty good idea, you know. Sometimes when you're beginning to move forward in things, then there's these little gremlins that come to try to hinder your progress, right? So that's what I'm dealing with right now. But we're going to go ahead and finish winding the bobbin. We're going to get our lining pieces sewn together and our interlining pieces sewn together. And then we're going to locate that bodice front, because we cannot go any further until she is located. And when that happens, we can keep moving forward. So again, I was talking about temperance. I guess I could put myself on camera since you can see my face. I was talking about temperance and how that my goal for 2024 is to learn to exercise more temperance, to grow in the area of temperance. That's one of my disciplines that I'll be working on. If you don't know, I'm in school full time, and I'm also in ministry, and I'm also a pastor's wife. And so I also have a local small business that I'm running out of my home and trying to get up off the ground, and all of these little things that play into growth, right? And so one of the areas that can hinder that growth is having an intemperate attitude, not being temperate. And so temperance is what I'm working on. And as I've been doing my studies on temperance, I'm learning more about it. It's a little bit more than self control, it's a little more in depth than self control. What it is actually, rather than self control, because we can control ourselves in some areas, but temperance is really more about restraining yourself in certain areas, actually choosing, I don't want to say this, restraining yourself in certain areas. Like even when the thought of eating a half a cake, a half of a cake comes to you, you restrain yourself and say, you know what, I'm not even going to have any at this point. I'm just going to wait until I can be more moderate in what it is that I'm doing. So um, I'm learning that temperance plays an important part in all of our lives and in the choices that we make. So let me ask you this question. 2024 is coming. Normally, we make resolutions for the new year. What new year resolution concerning disciplines are you going to make? So I'll give you three, for example. Temperance is one, and that would be mine. Another one would be to walk in love more. And then another one would be um, walking in peace in the situations that give you the biggest headache and the most trouble, that give you that look in that side eye that you want to give somebody. So that's just three examples. If you want a few more examples, go to your Bible, go to Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. It gives you a great choice of disciplines to exercise, to grow in, to flourish in 2024. I say 2024, there is more in store. All right, so my bobbin's going to be threading. I'm going to be moving forward today. I'm going to cut this short right now for today. Get this skirt put together as much as I can. I have to find my bodice. My bodice, the front part of my dress. I can't do anything until I find that pattern. All right. Until then, thank you again. I pray again that your holiday season was wonderful, and I will pick this back up on the next go round. Have a wonderful evening.